we actually converted the Sydney Fish Market
You told me this story.
to a ballroom. It was the seafood merchants at the time said to me, we want to have a night to recognise the industry. Why don't you hire a five-star hotel? I said, no. We're going to do it here at the fish market. And they all looked at me and said, how? Where they bring the fish in every morning is going to be turned into a ballroom. The room looked great. The only thing I had the problem was the smell of the fish market.
Yes.
The industry's used to that smell. I had to throw my suit out after that event. Not even dry cleaning would get rid of that smell.
That's it. It's gone.
Yeah, that's
right.
right.
Welcome to another episode of the Unicorns Podcast. This is the show where we go behind the scenes of Australia's business world to shine a light on the people and stories that help shape our nation. Today is a special episode. We're celebrating the release of a new book that captures the heart of Australia's small businesses and the backstories behind one of the most iconic recognition programs. Champions, the legacy that shaped small business for a nation, is a new book written by author Matthew Manahan and commissioned by Steve Loe, the founder of the Australian Small Business Champion Awards. This book is epic. It charts Steve's backstory, his life in business, the evolution of the awards, the values that underpin them, and the people who help shape their success over more than 2 decades. In many ways, it's a personal reflection on legacy, service, and the power of recognition. It's about the community behind the scenes, the award winners, the families, the teams, and the leaders who turned a simple idea into a national institution. Matthew is the author who brought the story to life, and Steve is the founder of Precedent Productions and the driving force behind the Champion Awards. Gentlemen, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Firstly, may I say congratulations on the book. It's an amazing piece of work. Well done to both of you.
Thank you.
Steve, I want to start with you. What prompted you to get a book underway, and what does it feel like now to finally be ready to tell this story?
Well, let's go to the end product. The end product is absolutely amazing. It's a masterpiece of, I suppose it's for small business in Australia. Not only, it covers, let's say, my life, my career, and how I started and how I grew up. But more importantly, it covers stories about probably around 100 small business people of Australia. It's got some humorous stories. So that's the end result. I go through the book and I sort of get excited reading other people's stories. Why did I do it? Having run events, and the Champions program for small business around, it's close to 30 years now since we started it. Basically, to go in and speak about it, it's very hard to impress people, especially when we rely on partners to come in and assist us. It's hard to describe something and get someone excited. So I was looking for a tool. The main reason was creating a tool that I could walk in any corporation, any business and say, this is what we're about. And I think this tool, this beautiful, I think it's 403-page book.
It's a big book, isn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It says it all.
So, Matt, when Steve approached you first, what was your initial reaction when he said, I want you to be the author of writing this book? And how did your understanding of the project evolve over time once you started writing?
It was firstly a huge honour. I think I'd been with Steve at Precedent for about a year at that point. And it didn't take long for me to realise the scale of what he was doing here. So an honour first, and then a bit of doubt. I'd never read the book before. But Steve, Chris, at the time Jean Parler, really believed in me. So we got to work. But essentially, it was an evolving process pretty much right up until the end. You know, we had a lot of brainstorming first, but we found our feet, you know, probably 2 months into the process, and it just ran like clockwork after that.
And how long did it take you from the very first meeting saying, I'd like a book written, to Steve, I've done it, the end, it's finished?
Look, we'd originally said, we're going to get this done in 6 months. I think it's taken 3 years.
Oh my God. Absolutely.
You know, and as they say in Toy Story, you can't rush art. So it's been an evolving process, and it's grown. Where we started originally, as Steve said, kind of having a focus as a sponsorship prop, essentially, it really has turned into a legacy piece. And through the support of Steve and the team, it has been able to grow. And I think we've created something great. Really, really great.
And I should point out, this is your first ever book.
It is. It is. No pressure.
Were you daunted by that?
I was. I mean, at the end of the day, we all kind of didn't know what we were doing.
It's probably a good thing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, I think very quickly I had to get on board with understanding what small business is and the structure of a small business and the heart of it. Once I understood that, it flowed quite easily. The process essentially was starting with interviews, getting to know a winning business, and creating a story from there. I quickly threw the questions out. I realized very quickly no one business, small business, is the same. And once I could really tap into the listening process and hear these winning businesses' stories, I was amazed at what I found out. And it was quite easy to write after that. Yeah.
And Steve, did you have any idea of the size and scale of what lay ahead when you first came up with the concept of the book?
I think originally we thought it'd be a couple of 100 pages. My problem was I kept feeding Matt more and more information and more stories and more people to interview, to the point of we've probably got lists everywhere of people we didn't get to the point of there could be a second edition, second volume.
The sequel.
And even at the end, I think we got to about 500 to 600 pages, and we had to sit down and just cut back to the realistic number of 403 pages, which is still a big book.
It's a huge book. So it's for those that are obviously not familiar with the book, it's a collection of stories rather than a linear history. So why, to both of you, why did that format seem the right one to follow?
I think Matt summed it up earlier. Small business is very varied. Every small business is unique. Every small business has got their own story. We wanted to touch so many different small business people around Australia. For instance, we've got stories from Darwin. We've got stories from North Queensland. Obviously, the metropolitan areas of Sydney, Melbourne and Brisbane. And different stories. We've got a story about a young boy dyslexic boy that started a business doing candies, crop candies. Now, that boy at the time, I can't remember his age, but he was a child. He's now, after 3 years, he's grown up. And the photos in the book has got him as a child. If you see him now, he's, let's say, a teenager. But these stories, they're all unique. Some humorous, some serious. Every story is unique to that business.
Matt, how did you go? The first part of the book features Steve's backstory. How did you tackle the issue of trying to capture Steve's story at the start of this book?
I can say with full confidence that was the most daunting part of the book. And it probably was the source of most procrastination, simply because it was so important to me and I knew how important it was to Steve. And it was a really beautiful process to sit down with Steve and start at the beginning. The first project I had when I joined Precedent, little did I know we'd do a full circle, was scanning in 50,000 photos of Steve, historical photos. And as Steve was talking to me, almost a year later, telling me his story, I could actually live it in my head. I could see it because I'd scanned these photos in. And to hear where he grew up, where his parents are from, the importance of their journey with their corner store, was a beautiful thing. And I knew I wanted to give it a good amount of time to get it right. And I hope I did.
Did he get it right?
Absolutely. There was interview after interview. And Matt had come back and say, we've got to do another interview. Well, another 2 hours went. And he recorded them all. And no doubt he's got them to sit down and listen to when he wants to have a good night's sleep.
Bedtime lullaby.
There's a foreword at the start of the book by Philip Wiltshire, which says, we are all doing the same thing, but differently. How do you think that sentiment captures the spirit of the awards that you have set up, the businesses you feature, and the book more broadly?
Once again, each year when we present these awards, we present probably, let's say, 50 categories. Now, as we see winners come up on stage, once again, we see different personalities and different styles of businesses. They're all small businesses. They're the ones that make up Australia. They carry the Australian economy. So, yes, they're all unique. And that's the beauty about small business. We're all very different. I'm very different to a fruit shop, for instance, in what they each present and provide is very different. And that's, as a group, we make up the most business in Australia.
So for those not familiar with the awards that you created, the backbone of the book, tell our listeners about the Champion Awards.
Okay. Before the Champion program was created, we used to run small business awards in local areas. They were just called Small Business Awards. Then they became the Local Business Awards, which we do all around Australia now. One of my team members, called Nestor Nicola, who was into soccer, suggested, why don't we have a Champion of Champions program where each of them compete against one another? I sort of thought about that. At first I thought, is that taking away from the profile of winning an award in the local area? Well, he convinced me, let's start a program. We invited each of the winners to compete, and basically, yes, they did. And the first event happened at the State Theatre with over 2,000 people. Once again, that happened in 1999. Little did I know this program was going to progress. And after 2 years of running at this system, we got so many inquiries about how do we enter this. We eased it, and it's now submission driven, so businesses can enter themselves. And now over the years, that program has grown. Both the program itself is now over 100 categories presented over 2 nights, and we do a separate trades program, a separate program for professional services, and a separate program for women. It's probably let's say the Oscars for small business. And small business people aspire to these awards, and they're big nights, usually around 1,000 people each night, and they're, let's say, full of excitement. And it's the people that attend that create that excitement.
How many events would you hold every year?
Every year at the moment, we're doing probably around 50 events.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. Yeah, it is.
And you're at all of them. You're going to all of them.
Look, I'm trying to sort of ease off. I have been going to all of them. For instance, next week we've got 3 events on. I'll probably only go to the one event.
Yes.
This week we've got 2. I'll go to 2 of them. Last week we had 2. So I'll still go to the majority of them.
Steve, you're normally shining a light on other people. What was it like during the process of having the book written, about having that spotlight put on you for a period of time?
With Matt interviewing me?
Yes, yes.
I'll be honest, a little uncomfortable, because it's very rare I like to speak about myself. I like to give rather than take, and it is exciting to sit down and look at the book. It's exciting to see the where I came from, my heritage, where my parents came from, what my parents achieved in a little corner store of groceries and fruit and vegetables, as well as a restaurant. So from those 2 small businesses, I learnt a lot without knowing. Of course, being young, what does a normal child do? They rebel against what their parents are doing. And of course I did that. I didn't want anything to do with a corner store or a restaurant.
Yes.
And when you look at the business I'm running, I gained the skills from a very young age of serving people in the shop, being courteous, giving. It was community work without realizing.
Yes.
In the restaurant, it was hospitality. What do I do now? It's virtually giving back, and that's been my life.
Matt, as you go through the 100 or so stories that you've told beautifully in the book, are there any particular favourites of the stories? I know I shouldn't focus on these, but there must be a few where you go, that story really resonated with me. I love bringing that story to life.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to pick one. Every story is so unique. But I particularly enjoyed King's Fiberglass. The business itself started in a garage, a little bit of pocket money, and he now owns a 2-acre block essentially. And it was just hard grit, determination, learning new skills and support from the community, and a great business to talk to. I really enjoyed Lauriston House as well, very comedic. But I think to highlight one business, it isn't fair. Each interview, I think, you have a moment where you stop writing and you listen, and then you remind yourself, hang on, I've got a job here. Because each business has a story. And coming back to the style of the book, I said to Steve, I don't want to write a corporate book for you. I want to write a legacy piece that is entertaining and has heart. So I asked Steve if I could, in some aspect, narrate it a little bit through my own lens. So there's quite a bit of me in the book at the start of each story, and it tails into a message for every business. And when you read it, I think the beautiful thing is you can pick it up at any page. Yes. Sunday morning, you can go to any story and have a read. I have to say, yes, every business has inspired me. Yeah.
So what was the methodology that you used when perhaps Steve gave you a name saying, this is a business worth talking to, here are the founders, you set up the interview? How did you prepare for that and then go about the process of bringing their story,
of course,
to the page?
For me, I started with the awards criteria. So your submission criteria is built so well, it's basically a business review. So all of our winners have succeeded in their business review. They've done the work. I quickly realized that structure, whilst safe, didn't bring the heart out enough.
Yes.
So when I needed to, I would refer back to those questions. But essentially after, you get the ball rolling, it's just a listening game. You talk to the business, you're prompted by things they say. And some interviews went for 2 hours, and I only had 400, 500 words for this particular page. And that was the hardest thing. I think Steve mentioned we were getting up to 500, 600 pages. And the editor would come back and go, look, this is great exposition here, or I love this little story about when they, had that incredible moment, but can we cut it down? So the hardest thing was actually less.
It always is.
Yeah,
Yes.
indeed. It flowed a lot. It flowed more fluently as the stories went on, but to find that took a little bit. You know, when you ask the same questions to each business, they would give you a similar answer, and I wasn't getting the heart. So essentially, the listening game was the main attack method. Yeah.
Steve, some of the people who have won your various awards over the years have said that the awards have literally changed their lives. What sort of impact has that had on you, knowing that this recognition has had a material impact on their lives?
Well, I get very excited because I've given them something. And I'm hearing that all the time. And to a certain degree, I don't understand what I've done for them. But to them, it's a huge thing. I was at an event even last Friday. A lady came up to me and said, "You're the cause of my success." When I won the award many years ago, it changed not only my business, my life. And I'm hearing that all the time. Now, it's providing I suppose, a platform, one for them to be recognised, but even giving them the opportunity to stand up in front of 1,000 people and give a 2-minute speech saying thank you. That's an opportunity that not many people in business, and especially small businesses, they don't get that opportunity.
That's right.
And that's what we're giving them. So we're giving them confidence to stand up in front of people. They'll take that confidence back to their business, to their team or to their table on the night. Many of them bring their team with them. We're giving them confidence. They're moving to another level. We do nothing. We just give them that confidence from being part of the program.
And the events themselves, each event, they're big productions, aren't they? So you've got big stages, live entertainment. There's a lot of flair.
Yep.
What was it that made you think, okay, if we're going to do this, I want to throw everything at it and make it very theatrical?
Okay, my philosophy is always, it's not an elite competition. It's not an elite awards program. It's a celebration. To give an award, we want to give it in front of a big audience. We want a winner being announced, a business name being announced, and in front of a huge applause. Once again, that's the confidence that we're giving this business person, that people are applauding as they're walking to the stage. What a feeling that is. Or when the finalists are read out and they're all sitting there, and we've got a beautiful video of a lady with her fingers crossed, and she actually wins. And we've got that whole segment captured on video, and that's what the awards are about. That's what we're giving them. We're giving them hope to take back to their business and say, we can do even better.
I had no idea what I was in for when I attended my first Champion Awards about 5 years ago. And just when I walked into the space and saw the size of this operation was incredible. But the attention to detail that Steve has always had is amazing. I remember I put up the seating chart in my first year, and one of the pins was in the wrong spot, and he came over and just subtly back over. I went, okay, that's how this is going to work. It's incredible, and he hasn't missed a beat at all. It's absolutely incredible.
So how do you try to measure the impact that the Champion Awards have had, not just on the people who win them, but more broadly on the small business sector and the wider community?
Because it's so varied, it's not easy to measure. I sort of look at success and the measurement of success through the comments that come back to us. And we get so many, it used to be letters saying thank you.
Yes.
It used to be cards. It used to be flowers. Now it's a simple email.
It's an email or a text.
Yeah, that's right. And we still get many of them after each event. And that to me says that's the measurement to me. So basically, we know we've done a good job. It's very rare we get anything negative back to us, because whether they win or they're a finalist and they're there at the night, we want to leave them in a positive way. And that's really what that's been the success of this program. You mentioned the grandness of the event. Everyone wants to be there every year. And that's why, and it's very few programs like that where businesses or people want to enter year in, year out.
And what I've noticed, Steve, is that the businesses, the individuals who win these awards are very proud of them, and they feature prominently in their marketing material, for example, certainly on their website. It's front and center. And I can imagine that is a source of pride to you and your business, that these are well received, well regarded, and a source of inspiration to them.
Absolutely. And social media is very important. And the days and weeks and months after winners have been announced, or even finalists, people are proud to put that on their social media. Now, we call it this is the Oscars for small business. This is the premium recognition for small business in Australia. And the brand of it is like an Oscar. People hold it like an Oscar statuette.
I've seen them. It's true.
Yeah, that's right. And there's grandness in that statue, and it took us many months to come up with that design back in the early 2000s. So, and that brand has been developed on purpose, and it's timely. It's basically, it'll never go. If we present this in 50 years' time, it'll still be the same. It'll still portray the same feeling that it does today.
I should point out that you have had many, not only celebrities turning up to the awards, but a who's who of the business community, but you've also had prime ministers, premiers, foreign dignitaries, like they all want in when the awards are on, don't
they? Absolutely, yeah. And we're very welcoming with politicians, and we give them the opportunity to stand up and say their piece as well. And we were fortunate to have John Howard come along one year, and I have to say his popularity nearly caused a riot. Everyone was virtually fighting over him, and at one stage they were pulling him from place to place, and basically it just so happened my parents were there that night, and that was my father's idol, and basically at the end of the night everyone was coming around John Howard, and my father was right next to him the whole time. And one of our sponsors at the time came up to me and said, "We want to take a photo with the group of people. We don't know who that man is standing next to the Prime Minister. Is there a way we can tell him to move away?" Little did she know that it was my father that was not moving. In the end, I had to call him over and say, "Let's have a chat." So I had to move my father on.
It's never a good thing to do, Steve.
That's right.
So, Matt, I'm keen to know your reflections on this after writing the book. From when you started, the idea of where you thought it was going to go to the finished product. How did that evolve over time?
I wouldn't have classed myself as a writer until the moment I handed in the first draft to the editor. It was a surreal feeling. Up until that point, it had felt like a research project. And I think because you don't see a light at the end of the tunnel, But now that we have a book almost in our hands, it is quite a surreal feeling. And to be honest, it's humbling. And as I mentioned earlier, a real honour. I think when I first walked into that Champion Awards, I knew I was in the right place. And I think when it's coming on 7 years now, I've been involved with Precedent, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
And do you have a new appreciation of small business in Australia?
It is incredible. I mean, both my partner and I, she and I used to go to Woolies. We'd do our big weekly shop. We now have our local butcher. We've got our greengrocer. We've got a bakery. Little things like that. We try and shop local. It's had a pretty profound impact on us, and we're happy to spend a little bit more for quality and customer service. And so far, we haven't been disappointed. Small business is so important. Definitely.
Steve, what is your overall hope for this book?
I just want to share these stories with so many people around Australia. I want to share it with people in the corporate world as well that don't really understand small business. We're not just a number. We're a very caring sector in Australia. We're the ones that give exceptional service to the local communities and beyond. And that's really what we're sharing, the greatness of the people working day in, day out, long hours, and keeping this country moving.
You are a very well-travelled businessman. Are you able to give us your opinion, Steve, on Australia's small business culture being unique as opposed to other areas of the world?
That's a bit difficult. When I travel, I sort of look at, well, where do I go? If I'm in America or Europe, I'll go to restaurants. I look at restaurants internationally, and I have to say, the service in, say, London or New York is far superior there compared to Australia.
Mm-hmm.
Australia's a lot more friendly, a lot more casual. We're a very casual country.
Mm-hmm.
It's what we provide here suits our people, our customers. We like to basically get to know our customers a lot more than traveling around. And this is, I suppose, this is what makes Australia unique.
Do you think there's a wide appreciation of the impact that small business has on the overall economy within Australia by most people, or is it's just underappreciated?
I think it's underappreciated. I think people take small business for granted.
Mm-hmm.
They don't appreciate the long hours. Like, for instance, we'll go and get a coffee. No one realises that at a cafe, they have to turn up at 5 or 6 in the morning just to prepare things for that day. And they probably work late as well. It's the long hours that people don't realise that they're doing each day, and sometimes 7 days a week.
Can I just touch on Precedent Productions? That is the official name of your business. Tell us about the evolution of Precedent Productions as a business from when you first started to how it exists today.
Well, it started in my bedroom.
Hey, a lot of great businesses have started in bedrooms and garages, Steve.
Yeah. That's all you're going to get about bedrooms. But ultimately, it was an idea. It was a passion that I had after growing up in small business that I wanted to do awards. The business actually started with 2 business partners. After a year, we decided to go our own ways, and I continued Precedent Productions. From there, I hired a couple of people. We launched the Small Business Awards in the inner west of Sydney and a couple of other areas. And from that, we'll recognise, or basically News Limited heard about us, and they invited me to present Small Business Awards in all their Cumberland newspapers, which we ran for a number of years. And then I suppose the rest is history. Along the way, I did a lot of industry programs, the garden industry awards, the seafood industry. We actually converted the Sydney Fish Market.
You told me this story.
It's a ballroom.
Let's repeat it because it's an absolute screamer of a story.
Well, basically, the fish market, it was the seafood merchants at the time, said to me, we want to have a night to recognise the industry. And we're sitting in the fish market, and they said, why don't you hire a 5-star hotel? We'll have it in their ballroom. And I just listened to them, and I said, no, we're going to do it here at the fish market. And they all looked at me and said, how? I said, exactly over there, the auction room floor, where they bring the fish in every morning, is going to be turned into a ballroom. We did that for 2 years. Huge success. The room looked great. The only problem, well, I had the problem, was the smell of the fish market.
Yes.
The stale smell of seafood. It was basically, I suppose I was one of the few that noticed that. The rest of the people were used to it. The industry is used to that smell. Well, I had to throw my suit out after that event. Not even dry cleaning could get rid of that smell.
That's it. It's gone.
Yeah, that's right. But huge success. And then there was, it was great. The Garden Awards, as I mentioned, it was a great experience where Yates invited me to travel around Australia and visit garden centres and virtually judge them from a customer's point of view. That was an experience. The hardware industry, I managed to get all the major hardware groups together and talking to one another, even though they were in competition. That was another huge successful program. And then I did a lot of shopping centre awards for both Lend-Lease and AMP shopping centres, where I travelled to all of them around Australia and New Zealand and ran awards programs for them. So it's been varied, and now we continue to do awards for childcare industry, and that's a huge event we do every year, where all the childcare operators and their staff get together for a huge night as well.
Steve, what's next? Are there any holes in your repertoire here that need filling?
There's a lot in the horizon. I just need my health, and I need someone to discover how to be young for life. You
need a clone, mate.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Let's talk about the book as we finish this podcast. For those that are listening, where can they buy it? How much does it cost? I imagine it's a perfect gift for the boardroom table, the coffee table at home. Give us some of the particulars around the book, and particularly how we can buy it.
The book, as I said, is 403-page coffee table book. It will be available soon, let's say at leading bookshops. It will be advertised heavily, and there'll be a website that that you can purchase it from.
Precedent.net.
That's right.
The book is called Champions, the Legacy That Shaped Small Business for a Nation. Steve Loe and Matthew Manahan, congratulations on an epic production, and we wish you all the very best for the sale of the book, but the continued and future success of the business.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.